Welcome to Deep Heights. My name is Deborah. Today we're going to sit and talk and feel with the cards. Set the tone, find the mood, listen. It's a new decade. It's a new year. It's January. It's Capricorn season. I feel comfortable. I've been working a lot. I hope you're well, that you are enjoying the season. Let's get started. It's got an overall energy. Excuse me. Alchemy. That's nice. Alchemy. Card 8. Change. Alchemy is bringing together different substances and creating something new out of them. Traditionally, it would be turning lead into gold or turning base elements into gold. But we think about what would that mean for us? What would it really mean, like practically, physically, spiritually? What does that mean? It's card 8. I would go to the 8th house with this probably, just because of I think of Pluto, which brings change. The planet Pluto brings change. He wants what's true, what's real. Think of the Death card. He's a skeleton. It's my favorite card. Is the Death card, because he's getting down to that center, that black depths of who he is, to find truth. And what do we do with that? And after the 13 comes art, where you rebuild. So if you burn away in the 8th house and you dye away your skin, this sounds probably kind of weird and dark, but say you lose your skin in the 8th house. In the 9th house, with alchemy, with art, you rebuild it, you regrow it. This would be a very personal process. And it's interesting, I was just reading, actually I have this book, Extraordinary Popular Delusions and the Madness of Crowds, and that's funny because, what's the card over here? And I was at the part on alchemy, and there was a sentence that I really liked, and it said, "Let us not, in the pride of our superior knowledge, turn with contempt from the follies of our predecessors." Maybe someone needs to hear that. Those that go before us, and what we can learn from the past, from history, from other great thinkers. Because what is it that's being created, that's being alchemized? Is it the spirit? Because it's change. This is such a huge, I could, spend 4 minutes like spazzing out because it's huge. It's a challenge. Alchemy. Because there are no, I do it one way, you do it another. And it's the time that we're in that matters as well in the moment. We can read books how they did it in history. Maybe we can't do it that way anymore because the time has changed. The circumstances have changed. So it's always in the now. Alchemy. And it must be done in every moment. And does nature do this by itself too? Where do I want to go? I do want to get an animal card, I feel like. Let's see. Because I don't want to get too far lost. Sorry, y'all, I got all excited. You know, that's what it's supposed to do. Okay, let's get an animal energy. Who would like to talk to us about this alchemy? Ooh, a lot of cards came out. It's too many. I'm not going to take them. Oh, I don't like those. Sorry. The energy just kind of got spazzed. And it's also about control, because like I've read in some old alchemical texts how you have to keep it steady. You know, that the energy has to be kept calm. Being able to find your calm, because there's also excitement with this knowledge. Ability. This is an ability. That if you get too excited, you'll blow it. Like a scientist, you have to have the right measurements, everything in the right measurement, the right amounts. Otherwise, it's volatile. There's in this card, there are lines here, and it's the Star of David. So you have the two triangles, and in the middle here, you have this triangle that's coming forward, and you have these two circle, not a triangle, but this circle here in the background. That's the what's been created by these two. So these two, the two triangles that had come together are these two circles, and they're moving out of the way so the center one can emerge, which is the two. It's something new from the two, and that can be within, and it can also be with two people. Okay, maybe this calms down and I'll be able to post it. Yeah, the animal cards just haven't been wanting to talk. Let's get a fairy card then. I can't plan these, otherwise it wouldn't be what they are. So, let's see. What do fairies like to talk about with this alchemy card? A lot of cards. A lot to be said. Like I'm not intelligent enough to talk about it. Or experienced enough, maybe. But, you know, one of my favorite things I've ever read about learning is, and I don't remember where I read it or who said it, but it's the best way to learn how to do what it is you're learning to do is to do what it is you're learning to do. And I really like that. No one like to speak with us about this alchemy, please. Who will speak with us? The fairy godmother. This is interesting. I like this card because it's a card about choices. She has a pearl and she has an apple. And I think of this card as like if you have, there are two ways to learn. One is the pearl. That's the hard way. Because how do you make the pearl? With the grain of sand that makes you uncomfortable. And you have to have that discomfort of the pearl creating process, which is life, existence, soul growth, soul creation. Or you have the apple, which is consumption of the knowledge. instead of creation. So it's like, well, and I don't want to get biblical because I don't, but these are just metaphors, metaphors. It's like the easy way that you can just eat the living instead of being the living. To eat the living or to create the living. Alchemy. Because with alchemy, you create the living. You create life from different substances. True wisdom and true knowledge. Think of heroism, of the tests. I think that every day, every moment we're tested in ways that we don't even realize or we don't even know, but then there are the big ones, and just because you've chosen one day to go through the process of creating the pearl, which is very difficult, it doesn't mean that at any time you can't stop what you're doing and, go the easy way or vice versa. It's a matter of choice. It's a matter of choice. Let's get another one. I feel also this is a 25, which is a 7. And I think of the 7 and the 8, the feminine and the masculine, the feminine principle and the masculine principle, because alchemy is very masculine. It's very creative, very fiery. But also, alchemy was finding the water of life, which is feminine. The water, well, it represents the subconscious and the unknown. I mean, really, this is an exploration with the cards for what we don't know. How do we find what we don't know? How do we know what we don't know? I don't know. This choice with the fairy godmother. There's something else the fairies have to say. I'll move on. Too many. Fairies of the future. It's a beautiful card. 33. It's a master number. 33. In the Lenormand deck, the 33 is the key. The key to the future. Creating your own future through choice. She has a walnut in her hand. But I think about, actually it makes me think of acorns. And you know how 1,000 forests are in one acorn. Yeah. That's all right there in your hands. Because she's made a choice. You see? She's made a choice. She's chosen. I think that what has been chosen is the path of self-creation. I wish I could have gotten that before 14 minutes. If you're still hanging around, it's cool. So the path of self-creation has been chosen. The path of alchemy, the path of death, the 8th house, and rebirth. The falling away of the false. The falling away of the false. Getting it off, I've been feeling like I've been sloughing off like old skin is the feeling. I know it sounds gross, but that's just a feeling that I've had the last couple of weeks that I just ugh, I don't want it anymore. I don't want those old, outdated hopes and dreams and fantasy attachments to the false. And it's good to have hope, but I don't want to live there. I want to live in the now, in the moment, in the moment, and the things that I want to create in the future through my choices. Though it be difficult. Because goddamn, it's difficult. It's very difficult. Okay. I have this really amazing deck that I haven't used yet. It's a book of Azazel Tarot. It's kind of shy, but I'd like to. I think it's ready to talk. Let's talk about the fairy godmother. About because she's tempting. She looks so kind, but she's also a trickster. She's got that owl up there, the symbol of wisdom and knowledge. But it's not always kind. Wisdom and knowledge isn't always kind and used for kind, because she's giving you the choice. She's like, okay, are you a creator or a consumer? Which one are you going to be? She reminds me of a birch tree. I don't know why. Okay. What may we know about the fairy godmother? This isn't even like a path less traveled. This is just a no path. This isn't a path. This is forging your own way, creating your own way, forging your own way. As you go in the moment. Y'all are going to be really shy, huh, when I take you out. You said you wanted to talk, and now you're going to be shy. The Six of Pentacles and the Ten of Wands. Hard, hard road. Giving and taking. I really like these cards. I think the Knight of Cups in this deck is one of my favorite cards if you have this deck. We know what these cards are about. The Six of Pentacles. It's giving and receiving. Being able to give and being able to receive. It's also, for me, I think it's about intention, because I know plenty of people who give and they don't give from the heart. They give because they want to be seen as giving, or because it's a commandment, or virtue signaling. Truth demands purity and honesty. Whatever that is, whatever the higher power is, I don't know what you call it, but something sees into your heart. Is it the fairy godmother that sees into our heart? I don't think so. I think she's like a fork in the road. She's an archetype, a helper. She's a mystery. The fairy godmother is a mystery. Because she's not a real mother. She's the godmother. She's in place of, that would be like a steward, a stand-in. I'm not saying she isn't powerful, But something beyond her sees the true, the real you. You see, you know. Because you can't create with lies, with falsity. You can't create with it. You can consume it. You can consume lies. You can buy them. You can sell them. But you can't create with them. I don't know what it's saying yet. I do know about this card though. I do know what it's like to walk with a fucking load, heavy load. You know, with all of my old. Maybe this is like, but even with the old, even if we renew ourselves and get rid of all of the old, you know, there's the new somehow. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't feel like I'm making sense. This doesn't make sense to me yet. What else may we know about the fairy godmother? With the success, with the 10 of Wands and the 6 of Pentacles. Oh, I see. Your choices will carry heavy karmic burdens. Yes, that's what this is. Your choices and whether you give or take and how you give and take are going to have heavy, heavy, heavy consequences. Yes. You will be penalized greatly because justice is here. She's got those scales. She's saying you can't lie. You cannot lie. And the weight of these will depend on your truth, on how honestly you've carried this burden. Yes, that's what it is. Your choices matter greatly here today for the future. Your future is dependent on your choices and how difficult the road is. I mean, we know the road's difficult, but we get help. We do get help. I get help, every day. It shows up. I show up, and the universe meets me. I greet it, and it greets me, and we work together. Not saying that it's always easy, but because you have to work. Six of Wands. He's got a head impaled on that stake there. This creature here. Maybe that's his old self. The false was talking about shedding that old skin. The death card. He's a skeleton. It's like peeling off the skin. I know that sounds morbid, but if you hear me, you hear me. If you don't, you don't. It's like all these other people surrounding him are like, ooh, I get you. They're like making a noise. They're like proud. Maybe it's the unseen, proud of you. Two sixes here. Let's get one more. That's interesting. Got hot all of a sudden. What else may we know about the fairy godmother, please? I'm going to get to that 2 and 5 with her in a minute. come on now, y'all. Y'all are being wild. The cards are wild today. I can feel you. I know that you want to come out. Quit hiding. Quit being so shy. There you are. We have 3. Okay, I'll put these away. Thank you. Okay, let's see what we've got. Oh, that's interesting. How very, very interesting. Some feminine energy here. So we have the Princess of Wands, the Queen of Wands, upright with the 4 of Wands reversed. A lot of feminine energy here. Very powerful, very fiery, very willed. Mastering her energy. But she is imbalanced. I feel like it's imbalanced. For me as a Libra, as a, the reader, I would see this and perceive this as an imbalance. And I know it's an imbalance because the 4 of Wands is reversed, and this is Venus in Aries. We know that with alchemy, with the water, this is very fiery energy here. Heating up that will, that water, the feminine energy that's more receptive and kind of, not as masculine, but the Queen of Wands and the Princess of Wands, they're getting up and they're getting shit done, But, I don't know. Let me clarify this. Let me clarify with the Mary L. why the 4 of Wands is reversed. Because I see someone sitting strongly in their power, but it's a little volatile. That's volatile. 4 of Wands reversed. Maybe that's why I have all this weird spazzy energy that's like, I just like had this vision of being in a laboratory, and there's like potions bubbling and like it's spitting out of the little beaker things, and there's smoke everywhere, and it's not gotten right yet. Something isn't quite right. And just because, God, I'm hot. Just because we haven't gotten it right doesn't mean we're going to stop. That's the whole point of learning, of the process, that we keep trying it until we get it right. We keep trying, we keep going, even though it's difficult, and we're fucking overburdened, and we're tired, and we're doing it, and we keep on trying, even though it's imbalanced with the 6 of Wands. Which way are we doing? Which is the right way? How do we get that victory? What is victory? What is alchemy? Well, so that book that I was reading, it's kind of like a satire, but a lot has been said about the stone, about the Philosopher's Stone, about the waters of life. Think about that, the sacred waters. I haven't read it in a while, but in C.S. Lewis, in the last book, when they're sailing in the waters and they get to they're in the ship, and they get to these waters, and there was something about the water, and I need to read that. Maybe you should read it as well, about those sacred waters. The sacred, and what does that mean? What is it a metaphor for? Is it a metaphor for the subconscious, for the unknown, for the mystery, the sacred mystery? That the universe brings it forth with you, that you meet it and it meets you, and it's always a mystery for how this gets done. That you're one of these circles and spirit's another, or the universe, and then what gets created. It's kind of a mystery. Wow, I went off on a little tangent there. This is exciting. I feel excited. Okay. Sorry, I didn't ask. Okay. Why is the Four of Wands reversed here? What's making this such a volatile environment, this energy? The Princess of Wands and the Queen of Wands. I don't feel anything negative or dark. I just feel like I usually feel with everything in life, that something isn't found. Like it's not found yet. It doesn't matter what books you read or what you think about or what you dream about or even if you just be, there's always something that's not quite knowable, you know? And it can be irksome. Four of Discs reversed. Maybe it's the environment. Maybe the environment isn't conducive to this kind of work. But that doesn't mean that we cease work. No. We have to go on. No matter where we find ourselves. And maybe we can't go on. Maybe we have to go on in secret. Four of Discs. This is also a card about letting go and maybe trying to go with the flow. Because the Queen of Wands and the Princess of Wands are directing their will in a certain way and accomplishing it. And with the Queen of Wands, with the Princess of Wands, it lets me know that she's still, the Queen of Wands is still open to new ideas of the Princess of Wands, of the just fire of life. And she can try again. She tries again. Let's get another one. Whew, we have two. Okay, so we have the Tower reversed and the Seven of Swords. I need one more, please. Okay, something else belongs here. Who else belongs with the Seven of Swords and the Tower reversed, please? It's okay, take your time. Sorry, I know something else goes here with these two cards, not just the two of them. Ooh, King of Cups reversed. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, I definitely feel this energy of just like kind of frazzled. Okay. Four of Wands reversed. The Tower reversed. Four of Discs reversed with the Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords, to me, sometimes speaks of mental brilliance. I think I've said in some other reading how this card sounds really like a chime, like chimes in the wind, but really high pitched, like the singing bowls. Bing, you know, clarity, that unique, more than just unique, brilliant, different, authentic. No, sorry. A maverick. The crow with the emerald, the green stone, the snake, shedding the skin and having what's left, which is this green stone, the philosopher's stone, the alchemy. The King of Cups reversed with the Tower reversed. Maybe the Queen of Wands and the Princess of Wands are afraid to let go. You know, their water could be a little imbalanced. Their emotions really fiery. So I'm saying I got this vibe going on here that's really volatile. And what's needed is clarity, the ability to maneuver through a very difficult situation of change, because alchemy changes. The 8th house transforms and changes. And the swords talk about psychology of our mind, the brilliance of the mind. It can also be maddening. It can be a liar. I don't get that feeling here right now. This is the ability to outsmart others, to be cunning, but we have to outsmart our own self sometimes, because we are our own block. We get in our own way, and men smarter than me have said that. Okay. Oh, this is really interesting. Also talking about choices. Which one do you choose to be here? Because it's almost like the crow and the snake here are wrestling. They're in this fight for the I keep wanting to call it a pearl, I guess, because the fairy godmother had the pearl. But this green emerald stone that's created. It's my favorite stone, emerald. Both of them have green eyes. Maybe one of them is the creator and one of them is the consumer. Think about the 8th house. One of the symbols of Scorpio is the snake. And another, supposedly the eagle. But here we have the crow. The crow and the snake. The air and the earth. Alchemy. What's important with this alchemy here, with this process? The future, yes, our future and our choices. Our choices every day. Even when we're imbalanced and feel kind of crazy and everything in our life is bubbling maybe out of control, and regaining that control, and how we do that. The Tower reversed with the King of Cups reversed. This kind of reminds me of how in Lord of the Rings, when they're in the marshes, and Gollum tells Frodo, don't go to the lights, the dead lights, like from It. And the dead lights. The Tower reversed. I feel like it's unwillingness to let go, and trusting the process too. That's really important, to trust the process of alchemy, because there's always going to be something you don't know, no matter how learned you are, no matter how brilliant you are. There's always the unknown. whatever this process is, and your choices, your approach, your mood, your attitude, your real one, not what you show the world, but your real one within you that nobody knows about except for you. That is what's going to determine your future. This process of transformation and change. What may we know in conclusion about alchemy, please? Clarity. Clarity. Patience on the bottom. There's that green dragon, the stone. That green stone here. What brings you clarity? Meditation? Is it more knowledge? Sometimes I find the more books I read, or the more things I listen to, I get more clouded. The clarity that I find is when I'm alone and thought, or when I'm sleeping, and sometimes I'm aware, like as I at night I'm aware of thoughts in my mind as I turn. How you get clarity. Let's get one more. Love. Wishes. Sorry. There's two people by the tree. Does love bring clarity? The fairy godmother. But is it created? Or do you just consume? Like I said, it's about choices. Change. Five discs reversed. I think of that song, Why Worry, from Dire Straits. And the ups and downs, the changes. Being able to maneuver through life, through them. I don't know how much clarity that I brought today, but I hope you make good choices. I hope to see you again soon.